Welcome to the fourth video on finding area. To review the first three, squares are used to measure area. To find the area of a shape, you must find the number of squares that cover that shape. One way to do that is to count the squares, and if the shape doesn't have right angles, like a square or a rectangle does, you need to estimate or combine partial squares. In this video, I will show you how to find the area of a rectangle. We'll start by looking at rectangles that are drawn on a grid. Instead of counting every square in this rectangle, I can use multiplication to find out how many squares there are. This method is better because it is faster, and it's also accurate. But faster is only better if you understand the underlying concepts and if you can get the correct answer. And all of those underlying concepts have been in the previous three videos. In order to use this method I'm going to demonstrate in this video, you have to know about four things. First of all, you have to know what area is. Second of all, you have to know what multiplication is. You also, for the third thing, have to know why multiplication works. And you have to know your multiplication facts. When you see a rectangle on a grid, you can see that it has rows, which are horizontal, and columns, which are vertical. This rectangle has 4 squares in each row, and there are 3 of those rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row, and 1, 2, 3 rows. That means there are 3 groups of 4. You can multiply 3 times 4 to figure out how many squares that is. You can also think of this rectangle as having 4 groups of 3. Rotating the rectangle does not change its area. And multiplication is commutative, meaning changing the order of the factors doesn't change the product. Either way, the area is 12 square centimeters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when I count these, I'm actually counting how many rows of 4 there are. So the area is 12 square centimeters. Here's another rectangle. It has 6 groups of 3 squares, and that's 18 square centimeters. So 1, 2, 3 in each row, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. And instead of counting like this, I can just count the first square in every row. So counting the squares in the row again, 1, 2, 3, and counting the rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when I count each of these squares, I'm actually trying to count how many rows there are. So the area of this rectangle is 18 square centimeters. To find out how many squares cover a rectangle, that is, its area, you can multiply the number of squares in a row by the number of rows. Once you've seen this video, make sure you get a practice sheet from me so you can practice some of these on your own.